Hello everyone, my name is Timothy Baxter. I'm a postdoc at the University of California, Santa Barbara, and today I'm going to present research that I've been working on, creating a comprehensive inventory of historic and existing coastal sand dunes in California. Before I begin, I would like to recognize that this work has been completed in collaboration with a number of colleagues, many of those listed on the screen you see before you, from universities across California, as well as practitioners in dune restoration. I'm sorry I can't be with you there today in person, but I hope you enjoy this presentation, and please feel free to reach out to me via email if you have any questions. So, coastal sand dunes provide a multitude of benefits to ecosystems and coastal communities. However, they are also increasingly vulnerable to the threats associated with climate change, such as rising sea levels, as well as coastal urbanization. Since the 1980s, there's been increasing efforts to protect and restore dune complexes in California. However, there's still limited understanding of the condition and extent of coastal dunes and the most suitable areas for restoration. There have been several previous attempts to assess the extent and condition of coastal dunes across the state. However, these have either been too coarse or provide unrealistic estimates of coastal dune location and extent due to the misrepresentation and mischaracterization of coastal ecosystems. The aim of this project, therefore, was to create a comprehensive inventory of historic and current dune extent and other attributes in order to guide future local scale resilience planning and monitoring in the region. In order to quantify change over time, we first needed to determine where dunes used to be. To do this, we identified, georeferenced and digitized over 150 historic maps from the second half of the 19th century, and this was guided and aided by historical aerial photographs from the region in order to create a statewide inventory of historic sand dunes. This was then compared to an inventory of existing sand dunes that was created using high-resolution satellite imagery, LiDAR and NDVI data in combination with HAML, a novel machine learning tool that allows the accurate annotation of key dune features. This includes the dune toe and the dune crest, which were mapped every 30 meters along the entire coastline of California, creating a really rich data set. So, what did we find? Well, over 27% of California is currently dune-backed. Coastal dunes cover an area of approximately 185 kilometers squared. This represents a 20% decrease in dune extent compared to the 1800s. As you might expect, highly urbanized areas in central and southern California have experienced extensive loss, over 95% in some regions, such as the LA region and around San Francisco. Although there has been extensive loss across the state, large dune complexes still exist, including the Santa Maria Vandenberg Dune Complex, which is over 98 kilometers squared in area. The extent of dune loss since the mid-1800s is probably best shown in this image, which depicts the loss of dune extent in San Francisco from 1850 to 2016. And there's been, we estimate here, over a 99% reduction in coastal dune extent due mainly to urbanization. In Northern California, there has been less extreme loss in dunes over the last 150 years. So in this region, there's over 140 kilometers, or around a quarter of the coastline is dune backed. And there's only been roughly 9% loss in dune extent in Northern California. Dune loss has been mainly caused by coastal development and erosion and the degradation of dune ecosystems due to the introduction of invasive species. There have, however, also been gains in dune coverage through the seaward progradation of these complexes and the inland migration of sand dunes, especially unvegetated transgressive dune fields. So focusing now on a couple of case studies from Northern California. So this is the north spit of Humboldt Bay in Humboldt County. The image on the right shows, first of all, the historic extent of coastal sand dunes on the left. In the central panel, the existing extent of coastal sand dunes, and then the panel on the right showing changes and loss over time. The orange areas depict dune extent or dune habitat, whereas the purple areas depict infrastructure and dune loss. So in this example, we can see that there has been an increase in dune extent towards the southern area of this region due to the stabilization of the entrance channel in 1889, causing a 870-meter seaweed migration of dunes. However, there's also been significant dune loss through coastal development and urbanization. This is best shown through these historical area photographs from the mid-1900s that show the gradual decrease in dune extent and loss of dune extent due to the development of inventory and the encroachment of invasive vegetation. In this other example from Dillon Beach, which is a bit further south, closer towards the San Francisco Bay area, here there hasn't been a very dramatic change in dune extent over time. However, there has been a significant change and degradation in the dune ecosystem due to the introduction of invasive species. This is best shown in these aerial photographs or historical area photographs from the area, which show the gradual encroachment of European beach grass, an invasive species that was deliberately planted here to stop sand migration into roads and campgrounds in the region. There was also a significant amount of sand mining. I think over 1 million tons of sands were mined from the mobile dunes in the 1970s, further causing the loss and destruction of the dune ecosystem in this area. And here is an image of the dune field today with the invasive European beach grass. So going forward, what opportunities does the inventory open the door to and provide? Well, in terms of kind of practical resources for researchers, we aim to create an interactive ArcGIS web map that will show historic and existing dune extent with the aim of providing information for regional managers to identify areas that might be potentially suitable for future dune restoration efforts. In terms of future research, we think the inventory provides a really rich data set in order for us to explore some of the main drivers of loss and change in dunes habitat over time, explore the relationships between environmental factors and dune morphology, especially given that we have that information pertaining to those key dune features such as the dune toe and the dune crest, and evaluate some of the methods that we've used, including that Hamel machine learning tool compared to other tools for identifying and annotating those key Dune features. Thank you for listening, and if you have any questions, please feel free to email via my contact shown on the screen here. Thank you.